Welcome, everybody. My name is Michael. I am the founder and president of backtothefuturetrading.com. And if you're wondering if I'm a real person, we can do a quick camera check here just so you know. Hey, what's going on? This is me. There was hair to here before I had kids and got married. And global warming has been melting my mental ice cap to where now Greenland is in New York City. So, Ricky says no sound. Stand by. Earl, can you hear me? Stand by. Dave, I think the presentation didn't start. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. How about now?
Mike, you should be good to go now.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I'm going to say a number and you tell me what you think you heard. 7. There. All right, we made it. Of course, Earl writes 8. Thank you so much for your patience. I unplugged everything and plugged it back in. And yeah, I was panicking a little bit. My name is Michael. And about 15 years ago, I started this company as a result of learning something that changed my life and changed the lives of close to 5,000 traders by now in the last 15 years. And it's been an honor to work with you all. And I'm so very, very grateful for your testimonials, for the news that you share with me. And I wanted to go over some thoughts with you here today about the predictability of markets. Are markets predictable? And I believe the answer to that question by the time we're finished here today is yes. At least that's been my life's work. And lately I've been branching out more into social media. The people who tell me the way I need to grow and get the word out is to use vehicles like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and all of these things. And I want to show you some stuff that I've learned. There are 3 ways to predict when something will happen in the markets. And over the 15 years, these are the things that I've learned And I'll show you two of them. The third I can't show you without a non-disclosure agreement, but I don't think that's going to bother too many people here today. The one that we sort of specialize in, that everyone purchases and has purchased and uses to pass combines with companies like TopStep and Apex, is a program called TachEon Warp. And there we go. Warp is based on a concept known as data mining, and we'll review that here in a second. Then we have predictable movements that are based on energy, things like the sun and the moon, the electric field, and the magnetic field. A lot of people have a hard time with that one, so much so that I actually get insulted by people online when I even suggest the things that I'm about to show you here today. The third way to predict when a market will go up or down is based on vibration, or the idea of frequency. And so this product on our website is called Force, and this product used to be called Alpha. Alpha is on a hiatus right now. It's going to come back in the fall. It's a part of Force as of right now. And inside of all three of these arenas, there's a language of time. So there are sort of two rules that all three of these things follow. The signals will go from positive to negative, positive to negative. So on the warp charts, you'll see blue dots, white dots, blue dots, white dots, blue dots, white dots, sell, buy, sell, buy. The second rule that all three of these things follow are patterns based in time. And attached to your go-to webinar, there's a book that describes those things. As a matter of fact, in your handout section, there's a link to a book that I've been giving out now for the better part of 6 years. And we're going to use these patterns in a moment to take what ordinarily I get mocked and insulted for and sort of illuminate some markets that we're all trying to trade and disseminate and find good entries for. This is sort of the easiest example to prove to people that what I'm telling them is true. And this is the E-mini S&P on a daily chart. And one of the things that I want you to notice, there's a few signals here. Everywhere you see a large green dot is a full moon. Everywhere you see a large red dot is a new moon. Everywhere you see a little green dot is a first quarter. And everywhere you see a little red dot is a third quarter lunar phase. Now, I don't care if you believe in them or not. I honestly don't. I got into a big brouhaha with someone online yesterday. I sent him at least a half dozen published peer-reviewed studies that showed what I'm about to tell you is true. And I want to go over some stuff with you. If I just look at the nominal patterns, the patterns in time which were normal buy and sell signals that didn't qualify at all for a special pattern in our book. Here's what I want you to sort of see. Everywhere I put a green dot right here is a signal that was just a normal pattern one, in this case, a regular buy signal that we were expecting something to occur at, or a normal sell signal. So I'll put red dots here. These are all the signals that didn't qualify at all for any of the special patterns that I'm going to show you here in the book, meaning it was a red dot and we expected it to go down. It was a green dot and we expected it to go up. So here, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think we're good. Okay. Actually, no. Yep, I did it good. Now, check this out. There are patterns on this chart where weird stuff happens. For example, if we arrive at a selling signal, third quarter or fourth quarter, and either the selling signal, the bar to the left or the right, is a brand new low. So imagine this is a new moon, and the candle to the left, the candle of, or the candle to the right of the new moon is a brand new structural low. It's a pattern 4. And we generally expect it to go in the opposite direction. So check this out. When I apply that to this chart, can you guys see right here? There's a prior swing low up here. Oh, let me use a different color. There's a prior swing low here, here. And then Dave, do you notice how at the very bottom, this red candle resembles this pattern right here? Can everybody see that? So I'm not using discretion or some kind of guru knowledge to make this up. I need this part of the webinar to be a little participatory so I can tell if I'm flying over everyone's heads or doing okay. There are some signals when they match a pattern of price action that go in the opposite direction. And so here in this instance, there's the red signal. Here's the red signal in the book. The candle to the left of it is not a lower low. The candle of the signal is a lower low, and the candle just to the left of that is a lower low. Okay, so cool. Thank you, Abraham. So if I use that definition over here, Abraham, watch. I can put a green arrow. Whoop. I can put a green arrow under here and under this candle. And then on the actual chart, I'll put a number 4. There's another place that happened. Can you see over here? Abraham, you see how there's a swing low to the left? And then right here, not the candle of, but the candle to the left, 1 bar, is a brand new low. And if I use that very discretion-free definition, what happened here on the third quarter, candle number 1 is a brand new swing low. And guess what I get to give it? A green arrow. And it goes in the exact opposite direction. So there's 2 pattern 4s right there. There's a third one here on the new moon. So all I'm doing is using the patterns from the book to establish these signals, right? So now let's look at the opposite of that, and that's called a pattern 5. When we arrive at a higher high, Abraham, and either the candle to the left, the candle of, or the candle to the right of one of these lunar signals is a higher high, then we expect to see a reversal. Abraham, as soon as it breaks that low, it qualifies. So in real time, as the candle is moving, he had a great question, because one of the problems with vendors is they have signals that plot after the fact or many bars after the fact. So Abraham, pretend we have a swing low like this, right? Because the signal is predictive and I know that it's coming, it's over here, right? So that means, Abraham, I have three candles that I'm looking at. The one to the left, the one of, and the one to the right. So Abraham, check it out. Whoop. Now, let's say the very next candle does this, and then Abraham, it opens up here, and this is live, right? Here's the open, and it's like today, it's dropping, it's dropping, it's dropping. Abraham, as soon as it punctures this low, it automatically comes up on the radar as a pattern 4, right? Let's say it closes 1 tick under pattern 4. And then the second the bar opens, if it comes 1 tick up and then 4 more ticks down, that one qualifies in real time. You're seeing it. Does that make sense? The warp program will actually print these in real time on the chart. We're going to update the moon stuff to do the same thing. So this occurs in real time as the candle's printing. But now check it out. If I do that, there's a pattern 5 here. I promise the juice is worth the squeeze here, guys. There's a pattern 5 here. Whoop, 5. And there's another one here. I'm just going to put some red arrows so I remember. And I want you to notice what happens near the pattern 5 signals. Abraham, do you notice how the markets slow down or go in the other direction? Like over here, there's a pattern 5. And I just close that entire chart. That's awesome. I have a new keyboard, and when I hit F4, it closes the whole chart. Stand by. This won't take but 1 second. And what I wanted you to see was that the more I know these patterns, the less mysterious markets are to me. So here we go. This is the most recent stuff. We'll start with here. And so this is a 2, 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 and this is a 2. Just plain Jane selling pressure signals. This is a 1. This was a 1. This was a 1. Everybody with me so far? And then this was a 1. So Bala, Abraham, David, when they're normal signals, do they generally go in the direction that we're expecting? Up and down? Most of the time? Yeah. Okay, now, here's where it gets cool. Right here, we'll use a different number or different pattern. Right here's a 5 on this candle. And Bala, what happens on the close of that candle? Does the market go up or down right away? Goes down. Interesting. Okay. There's another one of these right here. Abraham, check it out. Candle number 1, candle number 2, and there's a 5. And this market that was screaming up, Abraham, you see how it either pulls back for a minute or slows down? Like someone's pouring water on a fire. Does that make sense? It condenses, it consolidates, it stops moving up. In fact, you can see the zone right here. There's the high of the 5, and then the market goes into a consolidation pattern. And then Abraham, you see here how it goes down at the 5? Now stay with me, I promise. I promise there's a payoff here, right? In the book, having watched this now for years and years and years, I now know how to trade these things. Check it out. And we're just using something silly before we even look at the heavy duty stuff. Yes, Charles, you got it. So Charles, when there's a pattern 5 on the warp program, we're going to look at this on an ES 5-minute chart in a second. But here's what I've learned. When you get a pattern 5 signal from anything, from the moon, the sun, the warp program, alpha, aurora, force, Charles, there's an initial wave of bearishness because these signals are bipolar. They're red and green, but they got to work it out. They're schizophrenic. They're two personalities. There's a bearish thrust, and if it's actually got any bullish nature, it'll come back and breach the high. And now, Bala, I want you to look at that because I might be crazy. The guy online who said I was a charlatan, I might be crazy. But Abraham, can you see on this example, this is a 6-year-old book. You can look at the examples in it. It says 2016. Charles, can you see how that pattern 5 goes immediately down and then starts to come back up and approach its high the same way this example did in a 6-year-old book that I wrote using a moon pattern? Mechanical. I will use a large swath of color to show up, down, up, up, down, up. Bala, does that make sense? If Bala says it makes sense, I know you're all getting it because he's on the ball. So where would we go long in this? Charles, I have to wait. I have to wait for it to puncture that high, just 2 ticks above the high. And now here on the full moon, what does it do? It comes up, and then Abraham, you see how it pulls back? When do I go long in the ES? When it goes 2 ticks above the high of the last pattern 5 candle, which was right here. Is everybody with me so far? Yeah, Abraham, you see in the upper right-hand corner of my screen? Next event is a phase 4, which is one of these. In how many days? 6 days and 0 hours from now. So, Abraham, in 6 days, we're getting another one of these big fat red signals. We know the moon phases, 6 daily bars. Actually, 6 calendar days. The weekend is included in that, Saturday, Sunday. But do you understand how we know when the signal is coming in the future? We knew when all of these signals were coming a year in advance, 10 years in advance. The moon signals are known to the second for the next 1,000 years. That's just astronomy. But now, here, check me out. Bala said, your big full moon didn't work. Okay, watch this. At the bottom of the book, again, I'm using something silly before we get into something serious. Bala, look right here. This is called a pattern 7. So Bala, here's the full moon, right? It's not quite a brand new high, is it? Womp womp. No. Now check it out. Ready? If there's a brand new high candle right there. If there's a brand new high candle and the buying signal candle, the high to the low, including the body, if all of that fits inside the high and the low of the brand new high, Bala, we use the word engulfed. If the buying signal is engulfed by the brand new high, what is the expectation according to the diagram? I'm going to take a sip of water while you come back to me with that. Down! Oh my God, it's down. Are you starting to see, Charles, Abraham, there's a language in time. And the people who poo-poo this don't know the language. So right here, guess what I get to put? A 7. And it went down. Now, the second way we can look at signals involves something called data mining. I can use lunar charts for any market. Somebody pick a market for me, just from scratch. Somebody who's not a customer. Bali, you're already a customer. Who's not a customer here? I just want to prove the point. Rajesh says gold. Okay. So Rajesh, I'm going to open up a new chart. GC. And I want you to see how the language applies to any market that we study. It's universal. And I might be shooting myself in the foot here, but let's roll the dice. So Rajesh, thank you for that. It doesn't like my chart. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. Let's start scratch in the new chart. GC. Thanks for hanging with me through these little tech issues. We'll load a year's worth of signals. There we go. So Rajesh, I'm going to come in here and load those 4 phases again, right? Okay, and now we're going to push the first and third quarter phases on, and we're going to make the dots about an ATR and a half distance away. And I want you to see that any market is more predictable than it's not. And yet most people choose, nope, that's too far. Let's go 400. Most people choose to hunt and peck in the dark with a lagging indicator. This isn't even my best trick yet. I'm opening with my worst act. Let's try that. There we go. Okay, so Rajesh, see that chart? I'll scrunch it up so you can see how many signals there are. We could probably make the dots a little bit closer too. Remember, they're the same moon phases we just spoke about. Let's do 250 instead of 400. I'm asking Ron to make, Ron's my partner, to make an addition to this chart, guys, so that it'll automatically put the stop and ATR value away. There it is. So Rajesh, just looking at this offhand, would you say most of the red signals push the price of gold down and most of the green signals push the price of gold up for at least a couple days? Yeah, it's bananas. It's totally bananas, right? Now check this out. We're gonna go back. I love this. It's my favorite thing and I want to teach it to everyone, but no one will listen to me. It's so hard breaking through the noise. Rajesh, check this out. You see the full moon here just after the first week of May? The candle to the left of it is a brand new high. So if candle number 1 is a brand new high, can I put a red arrow on top of it? If that's the mechanical definition of a 5? No guru wisdom? Yeah, so let's do that. Now, let's use the same thing. How about this full moon right here, Rajesh? Is that a brand new high in relation to the prior swings? Yeah, it is. So guess what it inherits? A 6-year-old mechanical definition right here. You see how this works? What does a pattern 5 do? It goes down before it goes up. So on this chart, I'm doing it by hand to show you the old ancient way. Let me draw it right there. On a market Rajesh picked, forgive me for butchering your name here, by the way. In the market of gold. Okay, here's a new moon right here. The candle to the left is a brand new low. That's a pattern 4. And we can go signal by signal to make sure that those signals are matching what we saw. This right here is the prior swing, Rajesh, look, and brand new low. Where is the signal? Right there. Rajesh, does it break the low of the pattern 4 candle? No. It stops and goes up because that's what that signal does. Any question about this, guys? Gold is going to go down for about 6 more days. It has to. Yeah. It does the same thing on oil. If you strip the signals down to full and new moons on oil, watch this stuff. Ready? Pattern 4. Pattern 5. I'm just going to do these by hand. Pattern 5. Pattern 5. How's that? So check it out. The oil market, Ukraine, Iran, Persian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz. Look, new moon, full moon, new moon, full moon, new moon, pattern 5, full moon, pattern 4, new moon. This is actually a pattern 5 right there. Pattern 5, it comes down, comes back, violates its high, we go long right here. Pattern 2, regular sell signal. Rajesh, ready? Pattern 1, regular buy signal. Pattern 2, regular sell signal. Pattern 5, down. Never violates its new high. Pattern 2, on the new moon. Pattern 1, on the full moon. Pattern 2 starts to pull down. Pattern 5, what's the first reaction, Charles? Down on each of the signals. And when do we go long? When it breaks the high of the pattern 5 candle, which is right here. A green can only be a 5 or a 7. A red can only be a 4 or a 6. But Abraham, look, does it seem crazy to you if I tell you that the price of oil is affected by the phase of the moon now that I've shown you the language and the signals? Am I a fraud of, what do you call me, the lowest kind? So if you had a pattern 4 right here and you bought on this candle, and Charles, you sold it right here on that candle as a $12 move in oil. If I bought the breakout Bala right here, and then it came down and hit my stop just below that candle, I lose $620 compared to, what is this, $12,000 here? If I sold it, Charles, here, and I exited my position, there's $8,000 per contract. If I bought it here and I exited, there's $410, right? If I sold it here and I exited, there's $10,000. If I sold it here and exited there, I lose $1,000. If I bought it here and sold it there, $2,000. If I sold it here and exited, $7,000. If I bought it here and exited, $7,700. If I sold it here and bought it here, $6,000. If I sold it here and exited here, I lose $340. If I sold it here, it comes all the way down, but I finish in the green, $1,030. If I sold it here and I exited, Charles, I'm up 144 ticks or $1,400. If I buy it here and I sold it here, I gain $4,370. And if I use this dot as a stop, Abraham, right here, I hit my stop. I sell it, I hit the stop, and I lose $4,400. A pattern 5, I wait for the breakout of the high, or if I sell it here, it comes back, hits the breakout of the high, I lose $1,000, and right now I'm up 340. Using mechanical rules, entries and exits. This is lunar cycles from the Force program. But Rajesh, the point I'm trying to make is this. Are markets predictable? And can we trade them using strictly predictive signals if we know the language? I gave you 6 patterns. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So those are just a couple examples. And what we do differently to prove this to you, this isn't the program that we sell. In 2022, I sold 1 copy of that program. 1. Because moon stuff freaks people out. It freaks people out. If someone admits to me that I'm right, they feel like they won't get free coffee and muffins at church on Sunday. That someone at their church will find out that they were in this webinar, and Abraham, they're studying astrology and hanging out with pagans. And that's not the case. Can we look at today's chart in which market? While you're doing that, I want to show you one quote. While you're answering, I just want to show you one thing. No, Abraham asked, can you look at today's chart? We'll look at crude, we'll look at the NASDAQ, we'll look at the ES. But Abraham, the richest man in the world, said this about 150 years ago. Millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. Why would he say that? So if you call me crazy, you call him crazy. And if he's crazy, sign me up. I want to be crazy. So that's one example of how markets are predictive. The thing we're famous for is this program. This is the program we're famous for. And what Warp does is a little different. Warp doesn't look at an energy cycle per se. It assumes that energy is all around us and that time cycles are important. And Ricky, what it'll do, Chris, what it'll do, Charles, it'll go back in the historical data and it'll look for times that are recurring. So Abraham, pretend that the E-mini S&P drops at 10 o'clock every day for 2 weeks. The forecast from Warp would be sell tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Does that make sense? It's never that clear. You have to do some more analysis than that. But imagine the ES drops 100 points every day at 10 o'clock for 2 weeks straight. What are you going to do on the 15th day? You're going to sell it at 10 o'clock with a small stop. So to kind of prove this exists, when you guys sign up for the trial and the video demo, you get access to a whole month's worth of forecasts. No, it's just historical data. So Charles, what I believe that all of us operate in the medium of time, in the giant time bubble. I think the things that affect time are energy sources, right? We're all wireless cell phones on a cell phone charger. I think all of those things are influencing space and time, right? Einstein said this. I'm not the only person. And so, Charles, if we want to predict the future, we can study those bodies that are influencing time. Or, Charles, we can kind of crack open time right here, look inside of it, and see when the market is going up and down lately. Does that make sense? We can see the ripples on the pond, or we can study the wind that's blowing over the pond. Either way is a valid argument. But just check this out. If we go and we look at, somebody asked me to look at gold a minute ago, Rajesh, the software told me today, and I published this on Tuesday night, the software told me today to look for these signals. It told me to look for these signals, Abraham. So these are all new moons and full moons in theory, right? All of the white dots are potential buying times. Hey, Jordan, all of the blue dots are potential selling times. Any one of these white times can be a pattern 1, 5, or 7. Any one of these blue times can be a 2, 4, or 6. When we came 2 days later to the market, Abraham, what happened at the selling and the buying times? Does it look a lot like our lunar chart did a minute ago, but on an intraday scale? Check it out. What happened at 12:05? Let's just pick the lowest hanging fruit. What happened, Rajesh, at 10:25? What happened at 9:15 until 10:25, 2 days after I posted the signals? What happened at 1:05 today until 2:30? What happened from 2:30 to 3:50 Eastern, and then from 3:50 to the close? Everybody with me so far? I gave you these times on Tuesday. The software just shot it right out of its behind and said, I dare you to watch these times 2 days later. Now, if I come here, of course I can, but Rajesh, check it out. If I come here and we put the patterns on it, I want you to see some stuff. Rajesh, what happened on the close of this candle? Abraham, remember you said, when does the signal appear? What's this pattern number right here? Right? There's a 5. What do 5s do? They drop. What did the 5 do on the close of the candle right here? 1959.3. Charles, it fell like a rock. It fell like my waistline down into my gut. Okay. What happens when we arrive at a brand new low on a sell signal? Oh, it goes up. That's a pattern 4. 1050 wasn't a pattern 4, Abraham. So when I get in this trade, I sell it. And then the very next candle, that arrow appears. As soon as it starts breaking this low, that arrow is appearing. I get out because I know what's coming. That's coming. So now when I look at intraday signals, this makes more sense, doesn't it? Yeah. So the software has the ability to put the patterns on, or for those of you just starting out, we can take the patterns off. Charles, if you look at the signals from last night at 10 o'clock, the Asian and the London session, is it a big stretch for me to say that these signals are occurring at the highs and lows 60 to 70% of the time? Could I have faked that? Could I have faked that? No, right? Here's gold yesterday. Watch. I take off the little check mark. Now, Bala, look. How do I trade it? When I have a pattern 4, I watch the low. And look at the book. Here we go. There's going to be a push up, and then it's going to fall back, Charles. And when it reapproaches the low, that's where we go short. Do I go short here, Jordan? Do I go short here or here or here or here or here or here? No. When do I go short? Here. When do I get out? Here. I go short at 11:50. When do I get out? 1 o'clock. I go short at 1:30. When do I get out? 2:05. I go short at 8:40. When do I get out? 9:15. I always take trades personally in the direction of the trend. So Charles, using the patterns and the predictive times yesterday, plus $2, plus $4, $600, $680, $700, and then $20 more. That's kind of bananas. If we allow this to go to a higher time frame, the same thing's taking place. And Abraham, do you see how the signals are appearing on the right-hand side waiting for me? There's the sell signal. There's the next buy signal. And as we go back in time, it's not a fluke. This is what happens in gold over and over and over again. It happens in Bitcoin a lot. This is a higher time frame. Charles, here's the 15-minute chart on Bitcoin. Abraham, there are the signals waiting for me in the future. Look at what they've been to the past. I've been sending this out to customers all week to prove to them, the Bitcoin traders, that their market is not random. CL SCP-23 on a 15-minute chart. Who asked me about this? CL. Abraham, the accuracy is the same on every market. There is no best market. Rajesh, is CL on a 15-minute chart random or choreographed? Most of the time, the signals we're waiting for go in the direction we're expecting them to. This one signal alone, the largest move on this chart, you were in at the bottom and out at the top for $2,300. Abraham, everyone asked me to look at the 5. I'll look at the 5 at first, and if we have time, we'll go over the 3, if that's okay. Yeah, we'll go through it. Any other questions about the higher time frame? If you trade the euro US dollar, guess what? It does the same thing. Here's a 1-hour chart. I know you forex guys like to look at higher time frames. Rajesh, what pattern is this candle right here at 12 o'clock? Higher high, higher high. It's pattern 5. What did it do? It dropped. Yeah, look at you. You guys are geniuses. Lords of all you survey. CL today on a 1-minute time frame. Here's how I get them, Dave. Ready? Guys, these are all the 1-minute signals I gave you. Now, if I'm lucky once or twice on a 3-minute chart, Rajesh, that's pretty impressive, right? If it looks good on a 15-minute chart, there's 5 or 6 signals. I escape unscathed. But I want to ask you a question in all honesty, in all seriousness, because this is affecting your future. This is your business. This is what you decided to do with your life. If I posted all of these times for CL on Tuesday night, up and down, and without any patterns on here, when we arrived 2 days later, and I want you just to look with me. All I'm doing is pointing out the ones that worked brilliantly, like the up signal at 8:29, the down signal at 8:20, the up signal at 8:11, the up signal at 8:02, the down signal at 7:57, the up signal at the very bottom at 8:43. Abraham, is this luck or is there something going on here? I'm just picking out the lowest hanging fruit, right? How can it be right this many times if I'm a fraud and a cheat and this stuff doesn't work? Are you guys getting this? Somebody go wake up your friend next door. Go over to your neighbor and shout at him. This is exciting. This is literally good news. This is the definition of the word gospel. Gospel in the Greek means good news. We have the means of decoding when institutions are going to push prices higher and lower in the future most of the time. There's some failures in there too, right? Didn't do what was expected. But boy, holy shinola, did it work. And here's the thing, it kept working in the afternoon. And Abraham, look, here are all the times coming up, 9 o'clock tonight, 10 o'clock tonight, 11 o'clock tonight, into the Asian session, into the London session, tomorrow. I have the times for Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week right now. And they will be as accurate as all the stuff I've given you. How do you manage the bad one? You take a stop. You hit the stop. Stops are good. Stops are great. They're wonderful. I don't trade with stocks. Did you rip all the airbags out of your car when you bought it? So what I do, what I teach, Abraham, is this. And we're going to look at the ES here in a second. At 5:33, we'll look at a simple one. Ready? We enter on the close of the candle. My stop is 1.5 ATR values away. So when my moving average is down, me personally, I'm looking for sell signals, right? So I enter at the close of the candle and I put my stop 1.5 ATR values away. That number is adjustable. You like to ride the lightning, stay on that bull a little longer than you should, make it smaller. That 1.5 can be 1, it can be 0.5 if you want a really super tight stop. 1.5 is worked out to be a good average stop height away. It makes the stop dynamic or variable. As the market speeds up, your stops get bigger, but your targets get bigger. The move is larger. Market slows down, your risk is less. And so when that's the case, we get in and then out at the opposite signal. In and 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 out at the opposite signal. And look here, we hit the stop. In and out at the opposite signal. In and out at the opposite signal. When there's a candle up here, Abraham, and it's above the moving average, and then it finally closes below, I enter at the close of the candle that closes below the moving average, and I put my stop 2 ticks above that candle. So that would be my stop. Enter, and then I exit by the next signal. 1.5 ATR is where the dot is, yes. Any questions? I cannot overemphasize how your life changes when you know when the signal is coming in the future. I cannot overly exaggerate how important it is to know when the time is coming in the future. Imagine I told you, Abraham, tomorrow at 8:37 in the evening, someone's going to try to rob your house. Huh. I know the guy. I met him in a bar. He said, hey, you know that guy, Abraham J? Yeah, I'm busting into his house tomorrow. Really? When? 8:37? Huh. How would your life change? How would you prepare? What would you do? Most people trade like they don't want to know when the robber is coming. You know what? I've got a security system installed from this great company called RSI. And then I've got the camera system over here from MACD Incorporated. I've got some sensors on the lawn from VWAP Inc. And if anyone tries to sneak on this property, I'm going to detect it with my lagging technology. Do you want to know when he's coming? I know when he's coming. Within a minute. No, it's okay. I'm going to use my lagging technology. Every week, that's what I run into. Yeah, order flow. Yeah, because the delta right now on the backyard is pretty strong. There's a bunch of trapped traders in there. What does that mean? Are they trapped? Should we send a negotiating team? How do we get the hostages out? And by the way, did you know that institutions can do something called spoof and make orders appear that aren't there? Yeah, try not to worry about that. Hey, is it time for the mailman? Because I got to take my profit and loss statement out of that mail before my wife sees it. She's kind of over it and threatened to divorce me. Yeah, you should go get your mail, man. Just for visual, Charles. I want to show you how big of a badass I am. Many of you are here because of my stuff on Facebook, right? I've been posting on Facebook groups like a madman. And yesterday, I told everyone there was a move coming. Where is it? There it is. In the for what it's worth category, the S&P 60-minute predictive times and directions have been close to 80% accurate lately on the 60-minute chart. It's worth noting that the buy times have been substantial, rising 40, 10, 20, and 20 points respectively at their predictive buy times before the next sell time arrives. And Abraham, right here, I warned everybody yesterday, 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. I said, hey, this and this and this and this, it's probably going to happen again at 4 o'clock. I waited for the buy candle. If I had bought, Abraham, look at this. I'm going to shove your faces in it. If I had bought right here and put a stop just under that candle, I knew from here to here, $1,000. It actually went up to $1,500. I did it in front of 10 E-mini S&P groups. Ask me how many people private messaged me. There's a combined members list of about 70,000 people. Charles, ask me how many people PM'd me about this system. One person. One person. And then, Abraham, what was supposed to happen at 9 o'clock this morning? Until when? 1 o'clock this afternoon. What's supposed to happen from 1 o'clock this afternoon till 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon? And so I come here, and in the live room this morning, if you were part of my live room, I'm taking shorts all day. I'm taking shorts all day. Right? I tell people in advance when the signals are coming. Abraham, when the 9 o'clock signal came and that signal got out of the way, I waited for the open. The candle closed down short. I got in here. It fell another 1,300 on the way down. I bought it from here to here. I sold it after the open back down into the low. Look where I said it was going if you were in my live room today. There was a trend line. I said, we're going to come here, trip out the stops, reverse, and go up. So it's real. That's a 90-minute, that's a 60-minute chart. Let's go take a look at the 5-minute chart. Here's today. Here's yesterday. So now, Abraham, I'm going to put the 5-minute chart up. I'm going to load up the patterns that you learned. Let's make sure we can see the pattern numbers and we'll make this really real. It's going to get real here. Okay. Now, let me just draw so you can see. Pattern 4. Pattern 4. Pattern 4. Okay. Abraham, you ready? There are 2 signals that I teach. The first signal, Bala, you can ask Rachel about it and she can get you a link. The first signal is called a signal with trend. So guys, ladies, when I have a signal in the direction of the trend, for example, a buy time and the 120 period moving average is rising. That's the average I use in the webinars. I've used the same moving average for 15 years in the webinars. Some of you use 20s, some of you have used 50s and 80s and 200s. I don't care what you use as long as you're consistent, right? So Charles, when the moving average is up, we're looking for buy times, right? So my stop is 1.5 average true ranges away. And you can see sometimes, Abraham, the stop is smaller and sometimes the stop is larger. When the candles get bigger, the risk gets bigger. When the candles get smaller, the risk gets smaller. I enter on the close of the candle and then I exit by the next time. So if they're buying at 548 and selling at 618, I want to be done when they start selling, potentially, right? I buy on the close of the candle. I exit by the close of the next selling candle. Charles, makes sense? I buy on the close of the candle. I exit by the close of the next signal. Okay, here's level 1. Level 2. If the candle starts out below the moving average, and it closes above for a buy or below for a sell, I enter at the close of the candle and I put my stop 1 to 2 ticks under the candle that crossed over the moving average. So if over here, guys, say here's the moving average and the candle closed under it, Charles, I would sell here and my stop would be here. Rajesh, thank you for coming. I really appreciate your questions. They were super intelligent and it kept me on edge. Enjoy your evening and I hope you have a wonderful time. I'll see you soon. And if I don't, good luck, man. Bye-bye. This is a crossover candle. It's a variation of the trend signal, right, Charles? Right, Abraham? So my stop is below the candle that crosses over and I enter here. I exit by the next sell signal. And I can do this if it happens one candle before. If it crosses over, I enter at the close, I exit by the candle where the sell signal is, and my stop is right there. So far, so good, Bala? Okay, cool. So that's the second variation of a trend signal. Level 3 is called a puncture. Now, this is important for 4s and 5s, so listen up. If I have a counter trend signal, this 930 dot, Abraham, represents a recurring behavior pattern lately. The only reason this signal is here at 930 is because it usually tanks. So we would expect it to go sideways or to tank in an uptrend. It's either going to consolidate because people are selling and taking profit, or it's going to drop. Ian, what does it mean if it keeps going up? By the way, after 4 hours, you should call a doctor. It shouldn't do that after 4 hours. What does it mean if after the 930 signal, it keeps rising? Is that behavior pattern still valid? Are the banks, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, still locked into that sell, sell, sell mindset at 930 if it's rising and rising and rising? Like a fresh loaf of sourdough bread with a butter, just you put it in the crock pot with a little spritz of water, make it nice and crispy. If the 930 signal keeps going up, it means there are no sellers. They're gone. It's like you're walking up to a big 6-foot army guy at a bar and going, "Your mom is so fat, she's just really fat. Am I right, guys?" And you turn around and all your friends are in the parking lot running out the front door. I don't know what he meant. I don't agree with that. That's cruelty. That's fat shaming. The one guy who's selling at 930 doesn't realize all the sellers are gone. So now I use that stop line as an entry. If the trend is up and we go through the selling pressure stop line, I'm going to buy one tick on the other side of it, and I'm going to put my stop one tick below the candle that punctured the stop line. I'm going to buy right here, and my stop is going to be right here. And then, Abraham, I'm going to get out here because, Abraham, I'm always trading in the direction of what? What is my friend? What is the first thing they teach us at trading 101 school? Hello, my name is Michael, and the trend is my friend. Yes. So we frame the signals with a trading system. This is one I teach. You don't have to use it. Some of you have your own system. I don't know what cockamamie stuff you're looking at. That's fine. So if I'm buying and there are no sellers, that's good news. But when it hits the stop line of the sell signal, to me, that means empirically, there are no sell signals. There are no sellers. Vice versa. Abraham, if the trend is down and I have a buy signal like this, and the candles go up, and then they come down, and then they go like this. If the trend is down, and this is a buy signal, we can do this with the lunar signals, we can do this with the vibration signals, we can do this with the warp signals. It's all the same. When it punctures that low, that stop line, I enter right here, just under the line. My stop goes 2 ticks above the puncture candle, and now I hold it until the next signal, the next selling signal. I have a window of time to work with. Does that make sense, Bala? That's called a puncture. Okay, now one lesson that I don't usually teach, but so far you've been tracking so well, I think you can handle it. Abraham, when I have a pattern 4, so Bala asked a great question. He said, when the signal candles are really close, do you stay away from trading? This was a question just came in. There are some traders, Bala, that have a minimum bar rule. I want at least 3 bars between signals. I want at least 5 bars between signals. In fact, my trading partner, Ron, developed a ES trend system with a minimum 3 bar rule. So that's a valid concern and you can do that. But for the purposes of the webinar, I don't add any complexity to be accused of curve fitting, right? I want this to be on the up and up. So guys like Charles and Abraham and Rajesh, they believe me when I tell them things, right? Too many rules starts to get suspicious. So Abraham, if I have a pattern 4, I'm going to treat it the same way as a puncture trade. I'm going to put a line 2 ticks under the pattern 4 signal because pattern 4s behave like buying signals at first, right? Bala, when there's a pattern 4, I put my puncture line a few ticks under the low of the pattern 4. If it comes through that candle or through that level, I sell at that line and my stop, Abraham, goes above the candle that punctured the low. Does that make sense, Bala? Because a 4 behaves like a regular 1 and it can rip up away, I don't want to sell it. I want it to prove to me that it's going to go down. So we'll trade punctures of the pattern 4. And now vice versa. When we get to the 5s, what am I going to do? I'm going to put a line 2 ticks above that candle. And it's going to go down maybe. And if it comes up and does this, I'm going to buy here. I'm going to put a stop here, and I'm going to hold it until the next sell signal. I'm going to treat a 5 like a puncture. I want it to come up and break out through the high because this is what it usually does. We saw it on the moon signals for gold and oil and the ES. I see it on NVIDIA. I see it with Tesla and AMD and SPY and QQQ. It happens all the time. By the way, this is where you buy calls, not here. This is puts, calls. Puts, calls. Woohoo! When it breaks the lows and highs, it is usually an eruption of sellers or buyers. It is usually an impulse move, a breakout with gusto. Now, check this out. At 7:30, it's a pattern 4. It doesn't go below the breakout line. It closes above the moving average. I get up to how much? Almost $5, $250. I'm going to call that a break-even trade. It comes back after being up $250. Now watch. We're below the trend line. The candle punctures the line that I drew. Bala, I short it at the line. It comes down about 6 ticks. I exit by 925, another break-even trade. 925 is a buy signal. I'm not buying Abraham. The moving average is falling. It's blue. It's big, it's beautiful, and it's blue. What am I looking for? I'm looking for punctures. I sell it 1 tick under the white line. The very next candle, Abraham prints a white arrow. It's a number 4. I'm exiting with $3.50. My stop on the puncture would be 1 tick above the candle that went through that line. Here's where I sell, right there, 1 tick underneath. There's my stop. The signal comes at 9:45. I put my line 2 ticks under the signal candle. Hasn't broken through. Hasn't broken through. Hasn't broken through. What does a pattern 4 usually do? On the moon, new moon, full moon, first quarter, third quarter. What do all these crazy signals usually do on the sell side? They go up for a while and then they break. It goes up for a while and then right here. Who remembers in wrestling a move called the suplex? Who knows what a suplex is? Really? No one watched wrestling besides me? A suplex or a pile driver? Here comes the pile driver, Charles. That candle right here breaks through the white line. Right there. Whew. There's my puncture. My stop goes right above the candle. Sleeper hold. Iron Sheik, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, Ric Flair. Woo! So I'm short right here. There's my stop above the candle that punctured the pattern 4 level. How long do I stay in the trade? I stay in the trade until the close of the next time signal at 11 o'clock. That's a $6.25 move. Good for us. The next signal is a buying signal in a downtrend. If you bought it at the low, it went a whopping $3.50 in your favor. I'm not a counter trend trader. That's not what I'm watching for. I am watching for a puncture, a violation of that, because this Charles, this Abraham, Rajesh means there are no buyers here. We can sell as much as we want. I sell at 44.94.25. When do I hold it until? Until 11:55. Charles says, how are you knowing where the puncture is? Okay, I'll go over it again. Good question. If you're asking that question, it means I didn't teach it good enough. There are 2 methods I've observed to trade a trend signal with a pattern 4. I recommend a 2-tick gap to use at a trend continuation level. Charles, when the pattern 4 candles appear, I draw a line 2 ticks under the low of that candle. As they appear. If the next one comes and it's lower, I draw a new line. Remember, there's 3 of them that can qualify. No, that was a good question. If I'm not able to define it mechanically, you shouldn't buy anything from me. So over here, Charles, the very first signal would have been, let's look at this. That candle right here, I would have had a line right there. So Charles, I would have gone short right here. And then the next candle was a pattern 4-2. So watch, I would have gone short and then gotten out because the next signal was a pattern 4 for a $3 loss. And then from that point forward, the new low is here, which it never breaks. Now, Abraham, it's worth noting, the pattern 4 marked the low, and then the pattern 1 drives us all the way back up. It's worth noting that because that's what pattern 4s usually do. So a 6-year-old pattern from a book that I made when I was really tired does what the ES 5-minute chart did yesterday at a pattern 4 signal. The language of time is what messes people up and separates the charlatans from the geniuses. Not that I'm a genius. All right, if you say I am, I am. I guess I am. If you understand those patterns, you have the key to all of it. The patterns are the key to all of it. What to do when you get there. These moves are occurring every day. The pattern numbers are on. Look, they're a little hard to read. Number 1, number 4, number 1, number 4. Yeah. So then Abraham, look, at 140, what do? The trend is down. It's a sell signal. The candle closes. Can I sell? It's a pattern 2. Plain Jane vanilla sell signal. Yeah. I sell from here to here. There's another 3 points. 2 o'clock. Market puts in a little double bottom here. There's a support level. I can't buy it because it's below the moving average. Still below, still below, still below. Charles, look. Oh, it closes above. My stop is 2 ticks under the candle that closed above or crossed over the moving average. I enter at the close of the candle. It is identical to the example that I showed you in webinars all year. This is the same stupid slide that I use. And there it does, it closes above. So I buy. When do I get out? When does the party have to end? Right here. Yeah. You know in the future when it's coming. It's sitting there on the right-hand side going, Abraham, don't hold it too long. Don't hold it too long. So this morning, I was looking for that over here. I knew when my next signal was coming. 1106. Sell at 1042, out at 1106. Buy here, out by 245. You know how much pressure is off your shoulders? Ask 100 traders, how do you know when to get out? They will almost always say the same thing. I always get out what? What would every trader say? I always get out too early. I get out too early. Yes, Bala. Bala, I'm showing force and warp signals. Okay, here comes the next signal. It crosses below. Ah, I just closed it. Ah, hang on. Hang on. I hit the F4 key again. I have to put tape on it, so I can't do that. But it closed below the moving average. Oh, Dave is panicking right now. We're losing so many sales. Rip that F4 key off. By the way, oops, ES SEP 23. Let's look back at the 5. There it is. So we'll just put the patterns back real quick. We're going to short at that candle that crossed over. And now if I enter here, Abraham, I have to exit by the 325 signal, and I lose $3.75. So just a reminder, short from here to here, short from here to here, short from here to here, 75, long, 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 short from here to here, not short, not short, short when it crossed over and out. Charles, what do I do with this buy signal below the moving average? What am I waiting for? What do I do with it? Puncture! Yes, do not hit the F4 key. Right here, when it closes, where's my stop? My stop, Charles, is 2 ticks above the candle. No risk. When do I get out? When do I get out? Not quite. Bala, when do I get out? You're close. Think it through. Think it through. Yes. There's a pattern 4. There are 3 candles in a pattern 4. That white arrow is appearing, Abraham, in real time. It's saying, could go straight up from here. All right, let me take it and get out. And again, we were short from here to here. Do these rules make sense? There's only 4 of them. You know when the times are coming in advance. You know when to get out. And it's based on something that has a foundation in what? A super powerful energy force, right? The universe. Think about it. The same signals. Here, Bala, inside of warp, there's a parameter. It's about 6 or 7 lines down. Right here where it says show signal dots only. You're going to uncheck that box. Uncheck it. When you do that, when you do that, down below, there's a thing called the signal accessory editor. If you click down to patterns, all of the things that you can change the colors of, the arrows will always appear blue and white. So if you have a white background, you're not going to see the arrows. Oh, my butt hurts. There we go. If you still have an issue with that, just reach out to Ron or Rachel. They'll get it sorted for you. Okay. But I want you to see something here. Now that you know what you know, some of you trade stocks. I have another one of those crazy moon signals. On one of the fastest growing companies in the world because of computer chips and artificial intelligence. They're called NVIDIA. No, I'll get this sorted. Then we'll put a moving average on there. Stay with me. I promise it's worth the wait. If I'm gonna buy NVIDIA, Charles, there's my stop. Here's my entry. When do I exit by? The next lunar signal. If I'm gonna buy NVIDIA, where am I gonna enter? Right here. When am I gonna exit by? Right there. Where's my stop? Here. If I'm gonna buy NVIDIA, next lunar signal, here and here. If I'm gonna buy NVIDIA, I'm gonna enter here, I'm gonna exit here, here's my stop. If I'm gonna buy NVIDIA or have an options play, a call, if I'm gonna buy calls in NVIDIA, I'm gonna buy them at 285.57. Where am I gonna sell them, Abraham? At 389.75. Where's my stop? Right here. If I'm going to buy NVIDIA calls, I'm going to do it at 387.02. My stop's going to be here. Where do I exit? 622. If I'm going to buy NVIDIA calls, where am I going to do it? 423.31. When do I exit by? 455.70. Oh, I'm not keeping track. Now here's something that's really interesting. Ready? How close are we to the stop? Pretty close. Where does it normally go at least? Above the entry price. The risk on this trade is from here to here right now. And I have 5 days until we get to there. This is like a free trade. Do you want to know where these signals come from? You curious? This is based on the position of the moon in relation to the Earth and its orbit. And I got yelled at yesterday for even suggesting this would work. When you see a red dot, Charles, the moon is as far away, or I'm sorry, red dot is over here. The moon is as far away from the Earth and its orbit as it can be. When you see a green dot, the moon is as close to the Earth as it can be. I want you to think about what I just told you, because this relates to energy, magnetic field, electric field. When the moon is as close to the Earth as it can be, it's a green signal. When the moon is as far away from the Earth as it can be, it's a red signal. NVIDIA. It's not a recent phenomenon either, is it? No. Huh. How else do you explain this? Huh. Let's keep going back. Let's see. Surely it's not just recent. Oh, here we go. Last year. June, July, August of 2022. What happened at the Parages? Call, exit, call, exit, call, exit, call, exit, call. Oh, we almost made it. Exit, call, exit. Charles, this looks like a puncture, doesn't it? Call right here, stop right below that candle, exit. What is this signal? Someone gets a gold star if they can answer that for me. What is that signal number there? Using the lunar patterns. Anybody? It's a pattern 4. What do pattern 4s do? They go up. It's been going on for a very long time. Here's a fun fact. Charles, does Tesla follow the same thing? The car company? Huh. Boy, it sure looks like it, doesn't it? Where are the highs and lows in Tesla coming in? Huh. That's kind of weird. But surely a charlatan, a fraud of my ilk would not teach such things. Bala, is this a pattern 5 right here? Bala, is this a pattern 5 right here? Bala, is this a pattern 4 right here? What happened to the pattern 5s in Tesla with a lunar location? There's the puncture, Charles. Call from here to here, call from here to here, low risk put until here, low risk put from here to here, call in the money at least 25%, exit if you want, if not break even, low risk call until here, low risk put until here, low risk put until here, call, put, call, put, call. This is a pattern 5. What do we do with pattern 5s? We wait until they puncture at 348.18. Put, call, stop hit, put, call, put, call, call, put, call, put. The same energy, guys, that causes this to work, the same energy that causes that to work is causing this to work. This is not proprietary black box Buddhism from my butthole. This isn't something that I invented. I'm shining a light on it. That is different from daily cycle markers, Jordan. That is called the Orion indicator. Orion. And so these signals work, not because of any genius moments I've had. Here's the 5-minute signals from today. Jordan, Charles, we looked at yesterday's, right? Here are the signals from today. What would you have done? Right? Follow the same rules. Pattern 5, breakout above the high, stop below the puncture candle. Where are we going to exit? Find 10:05. 10:05, if you want to take a counter trend trade, you can put the stop just above the signal here, 1 tick above the counter trend high. If you wanted to short here, you can go short now until 10:55. 10:55, the market, you enter here, closes below the moving average, hits the stop. Womp womp. When it hits the stop, Charles, is this candle below the moving average when it hits the stop? Guess what I can do? I can sell it. Stop and reverse. It hits it, comes through the line a couple times. My stop goes where? Above the candle. It gets me in a trade. How much did I lose up here? Ready? I lost from here to here. I get most of it back if I sell it at the puncture. When's the next time I sell it? Let's just count this as a loss, right? We'll keep it nice and fair. The next time I sell it is at 12:45. When do I exit? 2:05. I get all of it back plus. Then I sell at 3:05. When do I get out? 3:55. Did I do anything screwy here? Did I violate any laws? Did I use all of the rules that we learned about an hour ago? Plus 13, plus 33, 36, 46, 47, minus 20, plus $27 on the ES is $1,000 plus potential day. And here's the best part. I already know the times for tomorrow. I already have them. They're waiting for me. Charles, I have an appointment with destiny. I have an appointment with signals that are driven by the energy of the universe that were traded by a guy who lived during Morgan's lifetime. He made so much money, it blew people's minds. And here's what he said. Time is the most important factor in determining market movements. By studying the past records of the markets you trade, you will be able to prove for yourself that history does repeat. By knowing the past movements of the markets you trade, you can tell the future. Time is the most important factor of all. And not until sufficient time has expired do any big moves start up or down. They hired somebody to watch Gann. He was being interviewed by a periodical called the Ticker and Investment Digest. I want you to see what they said. I don't want you to believe anything I say. 1909. They didn't believe it. In order to substantiate Gann's claims as to what he's been able to do using his timing method, we called upon William Gilley, an inspector of imports. Mr. Gilley is well known in the downtown district. He himself studied stock market movements for 25 years, during which time he's examined every piece of market literature that has been issued and procurable in Wall Street. It was he who encouraged Gann to study the scientific and mathematical possibilities of timing signals. And then he recalls everything. Mr. Gann's calculations are based on natural law. I have followed his work for years. I know he has a firm grasp on the basic principles which govern why markets move. I don't believe any other man can duplicate the idea or his method at the present time, except for me. And then he goes on to say, no one can compound money faster than Gann. If you want to read the article, I'll put a copy of it in your chat box. It's pretty good read. The same method he taught is available to you today. Gann didn't know about the patterns either. Sometimes he said, Bala, sometimes he said, when it goes in the opposite direction, it's really a big move. He didn't know about 4s and 5s and 6s and 7s and now 8 and 9s. What? There's an 8 and a 9? Shh. It's coming. Any questions? He didn't know about these things. He had no idea. And here we are. Every day. Why did the price of Tesla go up today? Nudnik. Knuckleheads. My VWAP is severely overbought, oversold in the middle. What do I do? 1 year of oil moves with the patterns that I taught you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Winners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losers. 12 out of 17 is how much? 70%. What did I tell you the accuracy of the signals were? 60 to 70%. Are the winners bigger than the losers? 592, 774, 777, 203, 10, 12, 8, 1.5, 1, 4.3, 1, 4.3, 1. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, cheese and crackers, lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. I'm not a crackpot. I'm not a fraud of the highest order. Is there any relationship between the intraday warp turns and the moon phases on the higher time frames? Yes, there are. Mike, if you go deep down the rabbit hole, there definitely are. Most customers that have both put both signals on the same chart. Is NinjaTrader the preferred platform for running the TachEon software? Yes, NinjaTrader does have a connection though, Warren, to TD Ameritrade. And you can link your account to the NinjaTrader platform for free and see the signals. You have everything you need to use the software right now. You're all set. You could buy this right now and see the signals tomorrow. There's free installation too, by the way. So we can do all of that for you. Any other questions? At first, when you look at the lunar signals, they don't make much sense some of the times. But when you apply the language of time to any signal, all of it comes into focus. When I was a younger man, I didn't have, look at that giant spot on my head. That's a shiny head. But when I was younger, my parents were not, let's just say, healthcare focused. My mother's idea of dentistry, she took me when my wisdom teeth were all in and had them all taken out. We never went for cleanings. We never went for checkups. He yanked out all 4 of my teeth in one shot because we're not going back twice. Healthcare was not a priority where I came from. Most of us of Gen X, you had parents like that, right? broken leg. I let your aunt look at it. She was a nurse in the war, right? But before I went to college, I didn't have glasses. And I was sitting in a computer science class, and there was this 4-foot tall professor. I forget his name. I think it was Darryl something. And he had this piece of chalk that was, I don't even think I can duplicate it. It was extremely phallic. He had this piece of chalk, and it was like 3 feet long and about this thick. And he would write on the board with big letters. And I would sit there and take notes. And he turned around and he points right at me, Ian, and he goes, do you know why I have this big piece of chalk? I got it because of this guy. Because when I write with normal chalk, he's always squinting. And all these macho engineers are looking at me. And I was so ashamed. I was like, oh, Mom, I need glasses. I need glasses. I cannot have this man holding a giant piece of phallic chalk and pointing at me in front of a bunch of testosterone-laden engineering guys. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And so when I put the glasses on for the first time, oh my God, you guys see like this every day? This is what your world looks like every day? And when you're looking at these patterns on top of the time signals, that's what these do. When you apply these rules, it's like any other system in nature, right? Gravity, 9.81 meters per second per second. You throw a ball into the air in Australia, you throw the same ball in Iceland or Greenland, 9.81 meters per second per second. That's gravity, acceleration, force equals mass times acceleration. These are the rules, the formulas, the language of the world we live in. Those same laws applied to timing signals, whether they're data mine timing signals from Warp, lunar signals from Alpha, Orion, or lunar phases. You can have a really good high percentage idea of how long the thing that's happening will happen and when the next thing that should happen is coming. Trading, the word futures, right, means what's going to happen further out into time. Lagging indicators, all of these price action indicators, support and resistance levels, they're great, they're good, but none of them have anything to do with time. None of them. Trading is about where will the market be a second, a minute, 5 minutes from now. And no one is concentrating on time. And the few guys that have are rock stars. No one can compound money faster than Gann. JP Morgan, millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. The market will go up tonight, starting 4 o'clock, he said yesterday. $1,500 later with no risk, straight up. One person PM'd me. One person PM'd me. How do you get the software? Well, I'm glad you asked. On our website, backtothefuturetrading.com, there is a product store. The program that we're talking about is TachEon Warp. If you want to read reviews from actual people who actually bought the software, you can. These are real people. All of them are real traders. You can look at every single one of the reviews and find out what people said. I haven't deleted one. There's a 1-star review in there, by the way, and a 3. TachEon Warp is the program we've been talking about. Don't worry about the other stuff. This is what most people get. At the very bottom of this page, I'll put a link in the chat box that you can click on. There's the chat box. You all guys see that link? Michael, good question. And this is going to come off really, really, really conceited. And I don't mean it to come off that way. The absolute best thing you can do is pick my brain. I think I know more than him, and I think I've learned more than he learned. Bala, I am 4.6% Italian from Naples, northern Italy. My wife is 1/4 Napolitano and 1/4 Sicilian. And that's the quarter I care about, because and she's 1/2 Cuban. So those 3/4 keep me up at night and are the reason I will never cheat on my wife. But yeah, Michael, just spend time with me. Gann could be esoteric. He was ethereal. He was lofty. He coded his things. He believed if he taught anybody, then his secret would be out. What he didn't realize, and what I've learned in 15 years doing this, nobody's listening. The people who are supposed to have this find it. Those of you that bought it knew when you saw it, it was the answer. And the other people came and left, right? It's like those scriptures where it said Jesus saw a miracle, or he performed a miracle, and like nobody really cared. 4 of the lepers left. Only one stayed around and said, thank you. That's how I feel. But those of you that purchase and you spend time with me and you learn it and you go on to qualify for your accounts and you're earning thousands of dollars in your funded Apex investing accounts, and you have 20 accounts that are trading at the same time with your trade copier, and when you make 200, you make 4,000. You blow my mind. Michael, spend time with me. Don't read his books. He didn't have a Pentium 9 computer with a 5 gigahertz turbo boost and 64 gig of RAM. I have an indicator that's literally tapped into a space weather satellite. Did you know that? I have an indicator that reads space weather data. We're good. Just hang out with me. Buy some of the tutoring and mentoring time. It's going to be okay. But most of what you needed to know, if I'm hit by a bus tomorrow, I just taught you. Just do it. If you click on the Buy Now link, there's a window that pops up. We have a live trading room. One of our customers teaches it sometimes. My partner, who's my best friend, teaches it sometimes. It meets from 8 to 12 Eastern. If you don't want that, you don't need it. They look at the ESCL, Russell, a couple other markets, and they take live trades in it. If you want to pay attention to that, you can. And if you like having someone hold your hand while you're trading, they meet 12 times a month, and it's just $149 if you get it with your software purchase. If you don't want that, here's the best part. Once you click on the X for the purchase agreement and agree to the terms and conditions, there's a promo code that you can put in there. The promo code is WARPOF, all one word, no spaces, no caps. WARPOFF, 7 letters. If you put that in here and hit apply, it'll change this number to 1995. I've been doing this for so long, I've lost track of how many times I've told people about this part. It is a lifetime license. There are no additional fees, charges, upgrades. Anything we do, if we add a pattern 8 or 9 to the software, you're going to get it for free. It also comes with installation. There is a video training archive in the Customer Resource Center with all of the basic introductory videos and how to do this and how to do that. We are available. It is myself, my partner, my assistant Rachel, Dave, our salesperson at large. We have 3 pro staffers, customers that help other customers. We have a Skype group that meets 24/7. You can join other traders using Warp right now on Skype. I think there's over 150 people in there sharing information with each other. All sorts of ways to get trained and stay connected. And you get 2 computer licenses. This does work with NinjaTrader, which will connect to your TD Ameritrade account or your Interactive Brokers account if you have those as well. It'll connect directly back with your data, and our software operates in here. Very, very, very simple to plug in and get started and see the signals tomorrow. Any questions about how to get started? You can do PayPal, or you can check out with a regular Visa, MasterCard, Diners Club, Costco membership card. We do wire transfers. We do not accept cryptocurrencies at this time. So that's the way to get started. This was the longest webinar that I've done in a long time, but I wanted you to see how these patterns integrated into the signals that we've been teaching here today. I wanted you to see how it all worked. I wanted you to know that you can know the times coming into the future. I have 3 monitors in my office, 1 for trading. I don't have more than 2 charts at the same time on that monitor. I use the monitor on the left for music and the monitor on the right for Skype, in case customers private message me. Most customers that are net profitable will tell you they have no more than 2 monitors worth of signals, unless you're Earl, who loves monitors. They run to the front door at Best Buy when he comes. The girl has 15, 16 monitors at this point. But if that's your life and that's your living and that's your profession, God bless. I only look at a 1 minute and a 5 minute NQ chart. That's all I look at. Earl says he can get by with 8 if he has to. Here's what I want to leave you with. You can know the future. These signals appear near the highs and lows at least half the time, the exact high or the exact low. I don't have to prove it to you. I already did. I gave you the times in advance. I asked you to follow along. Today I showed you the signals and the patterns, and we can see what happened after the fact. We can apply a simple trading system to them. $1,000 in the ES yesterday, $1,000 in the ES today. I wonder what will happen tomorrow. That's all I have to say about that. I don't think I'm crazy. I don't think I'm a crackpot. I don't think I am a fraud of the lowest order, but I did want you to know what I've learned. Here's what I believe. I'll let you go with this. You win battles by knowing the enemy's timing and using a timing which the enemy does not expect. JP Morgan knows the times they're going to move the market tomorrow. I believe that. Goldman Sachs and Deutsche Bank, the banks that are regularly fined for manipulating markets, know the times they're going to move the markets tomorrow. They know where the stops are going to get tripped. They know where they're going to create liquidity using retail traders' funds like yours. If you don't want to know those times, after what I've demonstrated and proven to you today, is what you're doing really trading? Or is it gambling? And I don't judge. But if it's gambling, at least be honest with yourself. If you want to learn more and do more, you have a path forward. If this was for you, if fate brought you to me today, Providence, whatever you believe, if you were looking and you found us, now's the time to act. You're not here by accident. Thank you for coming. May the wind be at your back. May the sun shine upon your beautiful and handsome, gloriously good-looking faces. May the valleys rise up to meet you and the mountains of adversity lay low before us all as we move forward into an increasingly tumultuous landscape. Fear not. Together we are a small but mighty group of rebellious time travelers. Welcome to our family. If you're in our family, I love you. Thank you for your support. I can never really express how much it means to me that you believed me and that you're doing well. But consider, maybe this is a nice little Star Wars group of rebels to hang out with and learn and have fun and make money with. If that's the case, I'm glad to have you in our small family. Rajesh, if you get the one, I'll give you the others. It's not a problem. You're welcome to them. Okay. Doesn't matter to me. If it helps you, fine. I'll include that. Just let me know when you sign up that I said that so I remember and I'll get it to you. I got a bad memory. But that's what my Cuban Italian wife is for. She remembers everything. Every mistake I've ever made. Hang on. Got dark for a second. I think I blacked out. I love you guys. I'll see you later. Have a great evening. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me, Michael at backtothefuturetrading.com. My phone number is on the website. I'm happy to sign you up. If you get an email or a call from a guy named David, he's with us. He's a great guy, super. He's going to help you sign up and get you all squared away and walk you through the process. Yes, she's remembering mistakes I haven't even made yet. There's a joke from a comedian who says that his wife woke up and said, "You cheated on me in my dreams." He said, as a husband of 20 years, I knew the smart thing to say. I'm sorry. On behalf of my dream self, I'm sorry. Oh, but I love her. I love her to death. I've been with her for 33 years, and I can't imagine life without her. Guys, have a great night. I'll see you next week, and welcome on board to our new members. Take care. This video will be available on our YouTube channel at Back to the Future Trading. You can find us tomorrow morning and go back and watch this video on our YouTube channel if you want to go through and review what we saw here today. If you aren't a member yet, please visit us. We also have a Facebook page at Back to the Future Trading on Facebook, on YouTube. Every single one of these webinars is recorded and uploaded for you to go back and peruse. If you're a customer, I would highly recommend looking at these videos again and picking up those little tips and tricks that we covered here today. All right, love you guys. I'll see you later. Have a great night and take care.